Good evening and welcome to the December 19th, 2023 meeting of the Spack-and-Kill Union Free School District Board of Education. I'd ask that you rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 2.01 is a motion to open the public hearing on the revised district-wide school safety plan. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 5-0. Dr. Fanuelli, would you just give a brief discussion about the revision?
So we've already had our public hearing on the safety plan, it already passed. However, we were required to have a remote plan as part of that, so we do now have that. So the safety plan remains the same with the exception of the addition of the remote plan. Now that is just in case we need it. We don't plan on using it, but part of a safety plan is if something like a pandemic happens again, it's already in the plan as opposed to having to create it. So that's the only.
Was that a requirement of the Education Commissioner, right?
Yes, it's a component of the safety plan that came late. It was a later addendum versus the safety plans that we used to have to do.
So just a quick question. A question that sometimes I know comes up is whether that remote plan can be used in emergency situations or short-term kinds of situations. I mean, you mentioned the pandemic, but can be utilized if something,
It's
like
not
the
really-
school floods or something like that.
If we're going to be out for a long period of time, I would imagine we would see if we could use it. We do have emergency days, snow days, sometimes as they're called. I would think we would exhaust our snow days before we would try to utilize something with the remote days. Part of our plan this year is if we were to use all of our snow days, we would consider going to remote days as opposed to taking back spring break, so to speak, because people have plans. So that would be if we did happen to use all of our snow days, we would talk with our faculty and probably utilize remote days in that case.
Mhm.
Or if something unfortunate happens where a school is out for a long period of time or a district, or we have to be out, which could be something with a building, those things could happen. So at least we have, a plan already in place, we don't have to create it.
Mhm. And I know there have been discussions with the teachers union about this kind of thing in the past too, so I assume that's all kind of, not necessarily part of the plan, but that's
I
part of the
think in
process.
bulk,
Part
I
of the
think,
process.
just like say, hey, Wednesday, instead of being off, we go remote, it's tough to just do a one hit, it's really a lot of planning goes involved on both ends,
Right.
with the student and the teacher, so, but if there's some sort of issue where we're out for a period of time, the plan's in place.
Thanks.
Okay, do we have any community comment or input on the district-wide safety plan? Okay, having heard none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the district-wide school safety plan and resume the regular meeting.
Motion to close.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 5-0. Okay, item 3.01, public comments on consent agenda items. Any public comments on consent agenda items? Okay, any board discussion?
I have just a quick question about item 1003, the change order for electrical work at the high school. And so documentation indicates as part of that pathway lighting, I think. So any detail on that? 'Cause I know that's been a topic that we've discussed before. What the plans were, I think last we heard, there were plans to try to put lighting there that would illuminate that whole path. So is that part of this? And so
That's what Val could jump into, but that is what that is for, because we had to change the original thought on how to light due to the rock that was there. This allows us to light up that path. We haven't done the work yet. This is to authorize the work to be done. Val, you want to add more, or?
Sure. What we're going to do is add additional lights and poles. Because of the rock, now we're just gonna add fixtures to the lights, the light poles that are already installed.
Right.
And part of the change order is cutting back some of the trees so that we can get light further down that path.
Right. And there was some talk, I remember, about possibly putting a light on the corner of the building. Is that part of that, do you know, or not? I'm just curious more than.
Yeah, I don't think that's in the plan right now. I think the plan is just to put
On the pole. On the
3 lights
existing
on a
fixture,
pole
on the existing poles.
with lights shining in different directions so that we can illuminate that path.
That was the only question I had about that.
Anyone else? I would just mention on our enrollment, I think it would be helpful for the board if the tuition students were shown per grade on that enrollment report, so we can see how we're doing with respect to the policy in place on our tuition students.
Yes.
We've made that change, correct? Not for this, but for the next one?
Not for this meeting in January, you'll see the new table format for that.
Okay, appreciate that. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Passes 5-0. Okay, that brings us to item 12.01. However, I'm being told that our Duchess BOCES Superintendent Shatelik is not going to be able to make it, so we'll move on to 12.02. Elementary administration update.
There's no microphone, but I'm plenty loud, so. Thanks for having us, so we always enjoy giving an update on what's going on. It's a busy time of the year, especially in elementary land. So prior to the holiday season kind of getting kicked off, we ran a Kindness Spirit Week in conjunction with the PTA. It was Kindness Week for the Positivity Project, and the PTA kicked off their Kindness Craze fundraiser. They did this last year. Last year we raised a lot of money, but there were maybe a kind of a middle-of-the-road pack number of students that participated in terms of doing acts of kindness. This year we've doubled the students that have signed up in terms of acts of kindness, and I know that that program's still running through the end of December. At this point, there were class competitions. There was a whole Spirit Week with different things that you can do to kind of pass that kindness around. Hat day, because your kindness comes out of your head. Like those type of participation really kind of drummed up the success of the Kindness Craze to get it going. So hats off to the PTA for getting that kicked off. And it kind of created a spontaneous act of kindness between classrooms, between students. And it really was a nice feel in the building that week, in conjunction with Positivity Project. In addition, the PTA also ran the Holiday Shop. The Holiday Shop, both at Nassau and Hagen, gives students an opportunity to buy for their family members. It's a little knickknacks, items that, kind of best dad ever mugs and those kind of things that they can bring home. And the nice thing is, and I mean, I give a lot of credit to the volunteers at the PTA, they also wrap the gifts for them. And, coordinating kids that not necessarily are used to handling all this cash and don't necessarily know how much each thing is worth and versus how much money they're bringing to the table. So there's a lot of moving pieces that go to the Holiday Shop. So thank you to all the volunteers that help run that. The kids absolutely love it. Like they want to go back and keep buying. So it's really fun. It is concert season at Hagen. We had our first concert last night with our Gold Strings, our 5th grade chorus, our concert band, and our Silver Strings. And they've kind of taken full action here. So we did an in-school concert last week in Hagen. They did an in-school concert Monday morning at Nassau. They also did the concert last night. And our 5th grade chorus, under the leadership of Mr. Andreas, performed at the Poughkeepsie Galleria last Friday as well. Got a big crowd in support, right in the center by where Santa is. And they started Christmas caroling and singing a bunch of different holiday tunes, and also did their set list for the concert. So really proud of them. They do an amazing job. A big shout out to all our music teachers. The time and effort and dedication to get kids, and you really see the arc growth from third grade, particularly in the strings program. In third grade, like tomorrow night's our beginner strings, they start with plucking hot cross buns. And then to see the gold strings perform last night, and now it's my third year, so I got to see the arc all 3 years. Pretty amazing stuff. It is our music teacher Super Bowl. Concert season is a lot of work, especially with the mechanical issues that happen, moving dates and rehearsals getting canceled. But they were true champions in the effort. So credit to them. This is also Spirit Week, so we're just full of spirit. This is Holiday Spirit Week, and today is probably me and Mr. Lynch's favorite day. It's Dress for Success, so you dress for the job that you want in the future. So kids came as pro athletes, nurses, doctors, teachers, scientists. But the part that they added this year that I thought was extra comical is they put a little parentheses that teachers can dress like the students. So there were a good amount of Hagen staff wearing sweatpants and Crocs. I think that's more middle school student, but they took full advantage, and it was a great day. And kids were really. We had two students particularly emulate Mrs. Murin and Mrs. Crittenden to the T. Wig, hat, everything. So it was really, really cool. And then upcoming, the students have gotten their study packets. We're doing our second annual spelling bee in conjunction with the Scripps National Spelling Bee. So when we come back from break, the classroom bees will be conducted by the teacher, and then each classroom champion will be ready to compete at our school level bee on January 26th. So we're excited for that. It's a lot of studying and practice, and it's a good kind of drum up of the bravery of being on stage and being in front of others and taking risk. So we're super pumped for that, and we'll see how that goes. And that's it for me. Mr. Lynch?
Mr. Souza, are you ready to pronounce all those words?
I will have my own study list, and I will cross out the ones that are impossible. No. I will have my own study list, and I will work with Pat Sample on correcting my pronunciation.
Hi, everyone. So I usually don't start off the update talking about a training that we do, but it's something that I'm really proud of and appreciative of the board and administration for supporting it, Dr. Mulford especially. So over the years, we have trained many teachers, if not all teachers, in Orton Gillingham reading, and this year we extended that to our teaching assistants. I don't know another primary building that has the entire teaching staff trained. It's a really intensive week-long training. And I get the benefit of sharing a wall with our conference room. So really to hear the excitement and intensity going on in there is something we're really excited about. We did have our turkey trot. Mrs. Spiegel is here today. She's instrumental in organizing that and more than anything, hyping it up. If you've been to the pumpkin run or the turkey trot, she is always at the start, really getting people excited about it and keeping it very safe as well. So thank you, Mrs. Spiegel and the Health Committee for that. The Spirit Week that we had, Mr. D'Souza touched on it. What was nice that the PTA did, and so we had two Spirit Weeks. We have one this week, and we also had one in November. But was the neat thing about how they tied it together in November is they tied it with our Positivity Project word kindness, and themed it so it was top off your day with kindness hat day. Kindness rocks, dress like a rock star. Warm and fuzzy, bring your stuffed animal. And I found my Cookie Monster from 1980 something and walked around with it for a while, which was fun. Another neat thing that's going on as we speak at Nassau, so over the years, it's been noticed that more than many, actually most of our students in the primary building don't know how to tie their shoes. And we have a really nice, an exceptional occupational therapist at our school. Her name is Christina Howard. And she kind of took it upon herself to kind of survey teachers and kind of create a program to teach, hopefully,
every kid to tie their shoes. And she started with second grade. Took her about 2.5 weeks in each class. She's also kind of modeling the strategies for teachers so that the teachers will be able to do it year after year. So she now has completed second grade and she's working her way down. So that's something, I know it's something we take for granted, obviously. But at the primary level, the amount of minutes that it takes kids to either tie their own shoes or ask for help, or they wear Velcro for an extended amount of time. And I know Mr. D'Souza and I were just talking about the amount of third graders that don't know how to tie their shoes as well. So that's a little thing that we hope makes a difference over the years. The concert, every year I'm amazed at the concert. Our music program is exceptional. If you've ever been to a concert, you know that. They also did a nice job of including Mr. D'Souza and I in the program this year. We were able to narrate "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" with the Golden Strings, which was a lot of fun and interactive for us as well. The Nassau, I think Hagen began last week, but we had to cancel last week. So the mentor program with the high school students coming down actually begins tomorrow. As we've mentioned, we've doubled the amount of students that are having mentors this year, so that's excellent. We are, on Thursday, we've had many of our students write notes of gratitude to our bus drivers, and we are, hopefully it's a surprise, surprising them with coffee, hot chocolate, donuts, and thank you notes, all of our bus drivers Thursday morning. And lastly, in preparation for the science fair at Hagen, trying to teach students about the scientific method, I will get up on the roof on Friday morning, rain or shine, and Dr. Fanuelli usually comes over on that day, and we always get a kick out of the different hypotheses that our students come up with. What, Mr. Lynch, how did you get up there? Is it a button that gets you up there? Did you fly? There's all these different ideas of a trapdoor someplace, and so excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody from the board want to discuss any of those?
Yeah, I would. Concerts are awesome. They're a great time. I got to go to a couple of them. The one at the mall was a lot of fun. So such a huge crowd. You could see people who had nothing to do with Stack and Kill walking by and all of a sudden stopping. And it's an amazing group of very talented kids singing. It was good to hear. The concerts at the school are great. A lot of fun at them. I went to the middle school one and the one last night as well. I thought it was great as well that you got to do the visit from St. Nick and narrate that. That was really cool. Just wondering if you had any good dad jokes for us. Well, I had a favorite one of last night.
I sprinkled in some Christmas dad jokes that
they were great. Break it up a little bit. But no, that was it. I appreciate it. There were concerts are just really, really great. I don't know if it's something that we could look into of possibly. Sometimes they're very, very crowded. Sometimes they're not. Like last night, there was actually some nice open seating. We had some elbow room, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But other times, there's such a huge crowd that it's circling all the way around down to the bottom, and it's you get up to give as many people you can your seat and stuff. But I don't know if it's something to look into that we could try to spread them out so they're not so crowded at one time. Possibly not just because of grade levels and the way that happens, but just something to think about. But yeah, I love the concert season. I really want to, extend gratitude to all the music teachers and all the chorus teachers and everybody from high school down to elementary school, middle school. I don't go to the high school ones, but I'm sure they're just as great. Thank you.
Yeah, I was actually at the 7th and 8th grade concert as well, and it was standing room only, but
Yes,
it's probably a
standing.
tribute to the
Yeah.
participation, which is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
I mean, the stage was completely filled, and then they were on top with the bleachers and everything, so
Mhm.
it was really something, but standing room only for sure.
Yep.
Anyone else? Well, thank you and happy holidays to you both. Appreciate it. Appreciate the update. Item 13.01 is public comments on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comments on non-agenda items? Okay, having heard none, we'll move on to 13.02, board correspondence. I don't have any, unless somebody else saw something I didn't. Anybody? No? Okay, 14.01 is comments from the board. Any comments?
I'll just make a quick comment regarding the meeting of the Dutchess County School Board Association for December was last week, and Jeff was there, and Superintendent Fanninwelli there as well. This was an in-person meeting. They moved the schedule of those, I think we've talked about before, to having all online meetings except a couple times during the year when we meet in person. And that one was in person, so it was an opportunity for us to see everybody, and we enjoyed that a lot, I think. And the focus of the meeting was, in addition to some of the usual things, updates from BOCES and so forth, but the focus was legislative advocacy, so we had an opportunity to listen to some really interesting back and forth about ideas for advocacy focus, advocacy foci, I guess, across the district. You know, it's really nice to hear in person from people from different districts what issues are there and find what common ground there might be. And so ball's rolling in that respect, and I think some people will be moving forward to do quite a bit of work on a couple of projects, advocacy projects essentially, involve research and coordinating to gather information for proposals for next year's business meeting agenda, but also to lobby legislators up in Albany. That's part of the whole process. So I found it very informative. I don't know if Jeff or Paul want to elaborate, but just wanted to follow up with that and say that it was, I think, quite productive and really helpful to hear that a lot of other districts have many of the same concerns that we have here in Spakenkill. And a lot of people are very, very enthusiastic and energetic about working on issues to try to move them forward from the advocacy angle.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I found it really, really interesting to see what all the other districts are going through. A lot of them have similar questions that we do, and similar things that we'd like to see the state try to sort out for us. And it was really great having our superintendent there. The only other one I think was the BOCES one, who was actually speaking there. So it was great, having representation there and a lot of good insight from Raleigh as well. But yeah, it was really interesting conversations that was happening. We got to mingle a little bit at times and meet some new people, and it was really good. It's usually a night that I've been unable to because of other priorities with family, but we had the night that I was able to go to, and it was definitely worth going to. I would definitely go back to it.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I just want to recognize our SRO, Steve Dowdy, was recognized by, I forget who it was now. It was, I think it was WPDH, our local radio station, was honoring heroes. And of a couple thousand applicants that were put in, he was recognized. It was the Wolf Den Heroes December inductee. And they put a nice article out there about Officer Dowdy and all of his hard work, his 16 years of service to the community, 12 of which with the town of Poughkeepsie. Most recently, he's been assigned to Spakenkill as the SRO, as well as some other schools. And it was really nice to see that he was being recognized for his hard work that he does, especially for our school district here. So thank you to Steve, and thank you for everybody here for supporting the SRO program. Also, just real quick to recognize another service member, public servant, Police officer Daniel Dodado had passed away in a car accident last night. He's the Town of East Fishkill police officer, had 19 years of service in law enforcement. His end of watch was December 18th, 2023. So I just want to extend my thoughts to his family, his friends, the Town of East Fishkill Police Department, and the community at large that I know is struggling through this. So. That's it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that both of those up, Jeff. It's a sad story. I just heard about it about 10 minutes before the meeting, so. Anyone else? Well, I guess I'd just say, happy holidays to our administration, our teachers, our staff, our students, all their families. Hopefully that, this break that's coming up will rejuvenate everyone and we'll be ready for 2024. And we'll look forward to that. With that, I'll turn it over to 14.02, comments from our superintendent.
Thank you. A couple things. The SRO, thank you for sharing that. In typical Officer Dowdy style, he neglected to tell us that. He's always deflecting that, so it's good to know. And we will have fun with that. But also, on a serious note, he's done a great job for us. Kids love him. He's always there. So that's definitely well deserved for him. And I'll be reaching out to him shortly now that I know that. Concert seasons, I was going to say this, but I'll say it quickly because it was already said, it is always great. What's kind of neat is the in-school concerts that we do. It's really great for peers to see their peers performing. I think it's probably means a lot to the performers that their peers see them. And it's been wonderful seeing that, and they're paying attention, like they're in. So that's been nice. So there's actually a concert tonight due to the rescheduling. Normally it wouldn't have been on a board meeting night. Something neat happened over the weekend for our crew team, and that's they had a private showing of the movie Boys in the Boat. So if we remember, we had the author of Boys in the Boat come to Spackenkill and speak in our auditorium as part of the Poughkeepsie Library District's Big Read initiative, which was really cool. I went, he signed my book. There's a lot of historical significance in the book Boys in the Boat, especially for our area. It's about the 1936 Olympic crew team, and they actually had the major race they had to win to win the NCAAs to qualify was the Poughkeepsie Regatta. So it was kind of nice. They did depict it in the movie, so that was kind of cool. But it was a cool opportunity. I think the movie actually comes out on Christmas Day, so they got to see that. And then finally, what everyone else has already said is, I wish the entire community a great break and a great holiday. It's coming soon, right? It'll be here soon before we know it, but spend some time with family and friends, and get a quick respite from the world if we can, and then come back well rested, ready to go when we come back in January. So happy holidays to all.
Thank you. And with that, I'll move on to item 15.01. The board will take a vote to go directly into executive session for the purpose of seeking legal advice, which is protected by attorney-client privilege. After the executive session, the board does not anticipate any further business being discussed. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you. We'll see you next time.